Good morning. I'm just getting everything ready. We'll start in just a minute. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for popping in. Hey there, Jahan. I'm so glad to see you today. Let me just get my notebooks. Oops, get my beverage here. It's good to see you too. I'm glad you're back. Let me grab my notebook. Um, the time changed here where I live, so it's an hour later than it was yesterday at this time. I don't know if other countries do that also, kind of mess around with the time. So everything's kind of mellow over here. Okay, so welcome everyone. My name is Catherine, and I love the tarot cards. Over the last many years that I have pulled cards, they've never ceased to make me laugh. Sometimes they make me cry, but they illustrate what's going on in my life. And there's inspiration and there's wisdom for us because my belief is that something deep inside of me is connected to the divine. And that the more I set my mind to hearing from my gut wisdom, from my natural intuition that is hooked up to that divine energy, the more my life seems to go easier. Are there problems? Of course, we face problems every day. But finding inspiration and answers for what's troubling us is what this is all about. I call it fish out of water tarot because feeling like a fish out of water is so uncomfortable for a lot of people. On the other hand, it's common in my experience because I've moved a lot over my lifetime. So when you move to a new place, you are a fish out of water. And so finding comfort internally has been a secret to my success. And I want to pass that on to you. So I love these pick a card readings. Jahan, you're here first. So I'm going to pick a card. Well, first, I'm going to pick a card for the collective just for today. What I was thinking of as I was putting this together is being connected and how good it feels to feel that connection with someone. People say it's like a how was your day person, that when the day finishes, somebody says, how was your day? How did that project go? What's important to you? And feeling that kind of connection with someone is lacking in a lot of people's hearts. So today I wanted to pick cards to guide us all and to inspire us to not give up if we're feeling a little isolated and lonely, but to accept how connection comes because it comes in very surprising ways. I'd like to introduce you. Hi, Lisette. Welcome. Let me just, I want to introduce you to Murphy, who's barking in the background. He can be a little bit annoying, but I never want to discourage him because watchdogs are important. They help keep you safe, and he's my little buddy. But okay, so Jahan, welcome, and Lisette, welcome. If you're new here, thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your time with me. It fills my heart with gratitude. And Murphy, he agrees. Okay, so let's draw a card for the collective. So if you are in a position where you're feeling disconnected, if you've been canceled by somebody, if somebody has ghosted you and you're feeling lonely and disconnected in any way, just pull your heart into this moment. Let's all take a breath. Hi, Murphy. And I'll draw a card for us for all of us who wish for more connection. And we have, gosh, thank you, the star. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. It's just beautiful. Look at her face. She's just completely at ease. The star is a card of healing. And the fact that you're here and that you're choosing to spend time seeking answers is a sign. There's no accidents when it comes to spiritual energy. And I'm so glad that you're here today. The internet is so random, right? As we look at the two pictures of the on either shoulder and how balanced she looks in this picture of healing, one of the streams of water is hitting the land, and the other one is hitting the water. So many times when you're spiritually curious, you simply don't fit into your peer group, your family, or your friends, because a lot of people discount energy or spiritual experiences. And that can be so painful because you want to be open. You want to be able to talk about things that are interesting to you. But if they look at you with the look on their face like, what's wrong with you? It kind of makes you want to keep your opinions to yourself. So, how do you live authentically and still be connected? That's what we want to know today. So, this card is such a wonderful promise that we're on the right track and that the universe has for us an answer when it comes to being connected. And it's lots easier than you think. Okay, so let's put this in the background. And if you're a person who has issues with wishing you were feeling more connection, be sure to put a comment in there and let me know that you are resonating. You know that you feel like, wow, she's talking about me. Just drop a little emoji in there and let me know because that's helpful so that I can make sure that we're drawing cards for the exact right people at the exact right time. If it's your first time here at Fish Out of Water Tarot, thank you. Thank you for coming. Be sure to subscribe so that you're notified the next time I go live. And Jahan, let's grab a card for Jahan. If you'd like a reading, all you have to do is drop a comment and I'll be happy to pull a card for you. Okay, Jahan, let's take a look here. What's going on for you? Take a breath. You know, this is an interesting card to pull when we're looking at connection because the very first sentence says unity with a spiritually minded community. Um, there may be, oh, excuse me, I'm sure there is a community you can be involved with wherever you live. I'm in the United States and I know people listen in from all over the world. But the key to answering the urge to be with people is important. There is the answers that you're looking for, Jahan, are in a group. Sometimes when people get together and talk about their ideas, new ideas pop forward. And so I believe that this angel today is calling you to realize that people look to you for comfort and support. You probably can't hardly go anywhere with somebody not coming up to you and saying, Shahan, what's your opinion about this? Or this is happening to me. Can you help me? So for people like that, it's important that you also are in a place where you can ask questions and just simply get wise counsel for yourself. So I would watch for any invitations that you get that make you curious. I think that during this next week, you're going to have opportunities to get involved with some sort of group. It doesn't have to be a spiritual group. It could be a group of friends who like to get together to do um, handwork, crafts. It could be a group of people that enjoy a certain breed of dog. You know, there's groups that get together. You can look in your wherever you go to the market, look for community news. There may be a choir, there may be an art group, but when you're looking for companionship, don't feel like you have to go to a spiritual group to get wise counsel. I think that you'll be very surprised at how comforted you'll feel in a group that gets together over a completely um, uncontroversial idea. Okay, interesting message. And also remember, you guys, when you're on these calls, there's a chance that what you're that your answer or something that's on your heart will be answered by somebody else's card. That is not at all uncommon. When I release this video, I'll put timestamps in it. So if you come to the call late, you can go back and read, or excuse me, listen to the message for each of these cards, because birds of a feather flock together. There is, especially in the internet, because it works to help join people who are looking for similar ideas. So, Lisette, this is your card. So, hold in your mind the issue that you're wanting to hear from the angels, okay? And let's draw a card for Lisette. And Lisette, where are you from? Ooh, and Lisette is drawn the Wheel of Fortune. I always feel lucky when this card comes. It is, as I'm doing this particular video, it's March 12th, and March 15th is St. Patrick's Day, and it's considered a lucky month. And so to draw the Wheel of Fortune in the month of March, I would say, Lisette, that you are going to have a little bit of a lucky streak. Don't be surprised if things happen to you in the next, I would say for sure for the rest of March. People may offer you gifts. You may find something valuable. You're welcome, Jahan. You may find something valuable. You may get a message. You could get an offer, but there is something that is coming your way, this sense of having good luck. What I would do to inspire this, and okay, there's two avenues because I don't know you, Lisette. There's two avenues. The first avenue is there's some people that never are lucky. They feel that good luck happens to somebody else, and that no matter what happens, never a lucky thing happens. And then there's other kinds of people that feel very lucky, that they're always in the right place at the right time. Unexplainable things happen that make them feel lucky. So I would say that for both of the avenues, if you're a person who just has been down on your luck, hi Diane, welcome. I'll put you right on the list. Um, if you're a person who's kind of had a bad luck or you feel unlucky, then an affirmation you can use is, even though I have felt unlucky in the past, the truth is that could change at any moment. Even though I'm not used to feeling lucky, the truth is I'm curious about what it feels like to be lucky. I like to use even though if I'm kind of stuck in a negative. Even though I feel unlucky, there's no there's nothing stopping that from changing. When I make up these affirmations, I just kind of talk them out, because I believe that if one person can be lucky, everybody can. Okay. And then also another affirmation that's really cool is, even though I don't understand why, I'm always in the right place at the right time. Even though I can't explain it, I'm always in the right place at the right time. This is a great energy to hook into this Wheel of Fortune. Okay. And for those of you who are joining me, if you haven't been here before, it's not uncommon for more than one card to resonate with you during one of these open readings, because people with similar energy tune in. And so this is a card marking good luck for you, Lisette. Okay. Hi, Mimi Mar. I'll put your name down on the list. Another thing that you can do is you can, this is going to sound very strange, but this is a way to change your luck. Are you ready? It's to give away money. Now, not to like an organization. No, no, no. That's too impersonal. What you do is you actually hand people money and just say something to them like, this is your lucky day. I love that one. There's a woman named Pam Grout. You may have heard of her. She's a wonderful author, and she wrote a book called E Squared. When I read that book, that was back in 2015. When I read that book, so many lucky things started to happen to me that it was inexplicable. I kind of love that word. You couldn't explain it no matter what. And so what I did was I sent an email to Pam, the author, and I told her, I said, I have had so much good luck since I read your book. Well, the luck continued because she contacted me and she wanted to put my story in her book. This is talk about lucky, right? So her book was called Thank and Grow Rich by Pam Grout, Grout. And in Thank and Grow Rich, she teaches about how gratitude changes your luck. Basically, she doesn't use that word, she uses other words, but she talks about the fact that the more grateful you are, the more often you find yourself in the right place at the right time. And that was certainly true of me in my life because when she put my story in that book, she also put my website. And so I've had a continual stream of people finding me out of sheer luck. Okay. So she teaches, and I recommend her work completely. She's the most practical teacher of this kind of thing that I have had, that I've learned from. Okay. And so be able to create a thought that will affirm how lucky you are becoming. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, I'm not that lucky, this will never work for me, then all you need to say is, even though I feel unlucky, I'm willing to look at a different way. Simple as that. Even though I have been unlucky in the past, when I hear Catherine talk about this book, I know I can go read that, right? Make a solution for yourself. Anyway, that's a lot of rambling. So sorry, Lizette, and the rest of you. I kind of had to, but I do like to give Pam Grout credit because I've read a ton of attraction books and I have studied this stuff for over 20 years. And I love it. I love how it all works. I love when you meet the right person in an unexpected way. But Pam is the real deal. Okay. So who do I have next? Diane. Thank you. I promise I'm not going to ramble now. I'm going to get right to the cards. I love spending time with you. Hang on. Okay, Diane, welcome. Thank you. If you're new, if you guys are new here, hit the subscribe so that you are notified the next time that I do a live. I really appreciate your time and attention at Fish Out of Water Tarot because y'all make me feel like I'm not such a fish out of water. In fact, when I'm here and with the cards, I feel like when I'm with the cards, I'm the least fish out of water. I feel mostly connected when the cards are in my hands just because they speak to me, the stories, and then when I meet people who like them too. Hi, Divinely Guided. I'd love to. Thank you. Gosh, I love your name. Okay. But as I was saying, though, like part of, if you feel like a fish out of water person, part of your life work is to find a fishbowl that you can live in, right? And just kind of imagine like bubbles in, hi, James. Bubbles in a glass of like Coca-Cola or champagne, all those bubbles that are in there, that in a way, I see that as like having all these fish bowls that are kind of in there so that you're feeling safe and protected and that you have boundaries and people aren't going to bother you in your world. How can you be connected? James, I'm so glad you're here because the theme of the reading is how can we feel more connected. What can we do with ourselves? What are the angels saying? And so, being a fish out of water, sometimes you can push people away. People can say, "You're pushing me away," and you don't even feel like you are. Okay. So, if you're having relationships issues, this would be somebody who this this reading is really about how you can connect with your deepest wisdom so you know what to do. Okay, we've got a ton of people, so I'm going to move right along now. And we have Diane. I'm glad you're here too, James. I'm very glad. Isn't it amazing? Okay, so for Diane, we have the beautiful Queen of Wands, the Queen of Wands, the fire. Okay, so let me just take a minute here. Can you see this okay? All right. Okay, so Diane, there's a part of your life where you're kicking ass. There's something about you right now. I don't know if it's your career or it could be anything because I don't know you. But what this is showing is that there is an area of your life where you are truly shining. Now, why would this be a problem with connection? A lot of times people are intimidated. And they may be intimidated by how good you are at something you do. And you probably don't feel, you would laugh out loud and say, they're intimidated by me? What? It doesn't make much sense to you. But the fact is that in order for you to really thrive, you can't be smaller than yourself. You have to embrace the talent that you have. You have to realize that some people are not going to be happy about it. They're not going to understand, but that's just part of life. And you need to focus on the people that support you. So your closest circle of people may be very small, but trust them when they affirm your gifts. When people say to you, wow, you are really good at that, accept the compliment, say, oh, thank you, and let it go. And then the people who don't seem to approve of you, you need to pivot and change your focus. Don't focus on the people who are not supporting you, because the last thing you want to do is hide your light under a bushel. Some of you know that saying, but you don't want to diminish yourself or make yourself smaller because other people don't approve. Okay, so that's your message, Diane. Go forth and prosper. Okay, moving to our next person, we have Mimi Mar. Mimi Mar, let's see here. Welcome, everybody. If you're here for the first time, thank you for coming. I'm Catherine. Happy to be drawing cards for the world today. And let's see, this is for Mimi Mar. We have uh, this one, this beautiful card here. Okay, so what the angels are telling you is that, again, similar to Diane, people look at you. Hi, Latanya. People look at you and respect you for what you know. And you're learning a lot. I think you may be coming through a time where you're just learning about boundaries. And when it comes to feeling connected with people, you don't want to be too available so that you don't have any of your own time. And yet, um, I feel like you could be maybe introverted and that you may enjoy spending a lot of time alone. So you're trying to figure out how to come out of that a little bit and to increase your social life and become more connected. If you're looking for a partner, there's a little rabbit in the picture. Can you see this rabbit right over here? And the rabbit is a sign of fertility, and so it supports those of you, Mimimar especially, but anybody who's feeling like introverted and feeling like they want to step out and become more available for relationships, that it is a learning um, situation. There, what may help you, what's coming into my mind, is something called HSP, highly sensitive person. You may have not heard this before, but I would Google it, HSP. There are authors that are writing wonderful way. Hi, Zion. There are authors that are writing very practical information about how to be highly sensitive and successful in relationships. Okay, so I would say embrace the fact that you're a student and you're going to get a lot more comfort than you think you will. You don't have to betray what's important to you to be connected. Okay, And now we have Divinely Guided. Hi, Divinely Guided. Welcome. Thank you guys for your thumbs up or like a hug. I mean, that's the one thing about internet readings and things is that there isn't the personal contact, and I don't get to see your eyes and get the hug that comes afterwards. So when y'all do the thumbs up, it means a lot. So thank you. And Divinely Guided. Okay, Divinely Guided. When it comes to feeling more connection, what do you have for Divinely Guided? Oh my, this is a wonderful, wonderful card here. As you can tell, it is a card of financial security, but it's more than that. The Pentacles suit is a suit of the material uh, sensation, the world, sense, the natural senses, and a part of our relationships. The cups suit is about the emotions. And a lot of times when you're wanting to be connected in a loving way, you're going to be thinking, well, I need more cups energy because the cups bring me the love and the emotion. True enough, but the pentacles have an equal role to play in ultimate satisfaction. So let's take a look. We have a lot of different kinds of people represented on this card. We have, there's a pregnant mama here. It looks, there's a mother and child, could be a grandmother and a grandchild. And then back over here, we have these two gentlemen that are involved in some sort of discussion. And then the strong pillar of support. So when it comes to connection, I'm sensing that this is not just a dream for you, divinely guided. I feel like there is something that really drops deep roots in this area of being grounded in the promise of stability that comes with this card. Interesting that it's not a tree. It's not the tree of life. What it is this pillar. And pillars don't typically have roots. But what I'm seeing in this card for you, divinely guided, is I want you to imagine that there are roots growing from this pillar down into the earth, and that the background that you have, which could be multi generational here, I'm sensing the idea that you have family roots that go back to like Rome and Egypt and the parts of the world in antiquity that used pillars. Okay. This idea that genetically we are connected to our past, our grandparents, 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 and grandparents. But there's something about this card that I feel like the angels are wanting you to leverage your original um, genetic roots of stability. And then as you make your decisions, knowing that you're connected like that, follow your hunches. Okay. Interesting message. Many times when I do a card, hi, high priestess, when I do a card, I really don't know. Sometimes I don't know what I'm saying, sort of, if you know what I mean, because the story just comes out of the card. I do read intuitively, and people ask me that sometimes, but that card doesn't mean that, or that's a different reading of the, oh gosh, thank you, Divine. The card is not proper because you haven't read it that way, the correct way. And I have to tell you, fish out of water, I'm a fish out of water. I read how I read. I can't help, the cards kind of tell their own story, honestly. So thank you. Let's take a break here. I have a little sip of water. Thank you, everybody, I've got a great long list of people. I'm going to keep going through the list. If you'd like a reading, go ahead. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I love spending time with you. It gives me goosebumps and thrilled. And so, James, I'm coming to you next. Now, again, the theme of today's, and you guys weren't here, some of you at the beginning of the reading, but I pulled a card for the collective, for the theme of the reading around connection, and it's the star, which is that card of healing. And what we pointed out was that one of her jars is emptying water on the land, and one of the jars is emptying the water on the sea. And this does kind of symbolize to me that fish out of water feeling, where you've got a foot in both worlds. And a lot of times the people in your life don't understand why you watch tarot readings. And so they're like, why do you do all this? flaky stuff. And you're like, it's not flaky to me. I love it. But you can feel like you have to keep peace with the people in your world, and it might interfere with your connection. So that was our first reading. Okay, so right now, our request is, what can we know for our own lives that'll help us connect more deeply? Okay. Thank you, Fancy. I've got you on the list. I'm moving right along here. I feel like it's a restaurant. You guys are waiting for your food. Okay, this is for James. So James, when it comes to connection, here is what the cards have for you. Okay. I really love this card. This is a conflict card. I mean, in some of the other decks, this card is not, well, most of the other decks, this card is not so beautiful, because when you feel stuck, where you can't go forward, in a way, you can't go backward either. And you can feel like you really don't know which direction to take. If we look closely at the card, I'm just going to pull it closer so you can see. The gate is open, all right? She's blindfolded, but she's starting to look. She's starting to see the truth. So in your situation, James, with the connection that you're feeling, this could be you or it could be your person, but there's this sense of fear of making a mistake. For me personally, I deal with this perfectionism. If I second guess myself. If I feel like I've hurt someone's feelings, I'm immediately almost frozen in place, like, oh shit, what have I done? And I need to recognize that in myself, because what that does is it makes the other person have to walk on eggshells. So even though I'm trying so hard not to offend, they're not offended, but they sense my being too careful. So this eight of swords energy, it comes from the way we're thinking about our problem. Okay. And so I got you, DJ. So with your situation, put yourself on both sides of this. On the one side, check your own behavior. Are you authentic? Do you feel that you can um, honestly speak your mind without fear of hurting someone's feelings? Is it her? Is it your partner who struggles with communication? This is really a difficult thing. Let me just take a breath here. Oh, okay. Thank you, Uni. One thing that could be very helpful for both of you is to Google Louise Hay. There's literally thousands of videos. She's no longer with us. She's on the other side, but her voice is amazing. And the work she does about the inner child is life-changing, because usually when you're falling into a deep connection with someone, it wakes up insecurities. It's supposed to, right? Because you want to trust that person. If you don't know about the idea of the inner child and what can be done, um, I could do a call on. Maybe I could read cards for that one time. But I recommend Louise Hay. Okay, Google her. Don't give it to your partner. Listen to yourself. See how it resonates. The truth is, you guys might not be cut out for each other. We don't know, but there's nothing lonelier than being in a couple and no communication. And so this is a card that says your thinking about this situation is worse than the situation. And so being able to pivot and focus on your own needs for love and acceptance through the inner child stuff will give you something to do while you wait for your partner to come to her own realization. Okay, James, I hope that was helpful. And now we have Tom. Or Tam. Oh gosh, I don't know if it was Tom or Tam because I can't read my handwriting. So My apologies. Thank you for being here. If it's your first time here, I made a brief little commercial. This is Catherine. I'm in Tennessee in the US. I love Fish Out of Water Tarot because it connects me with people who are socially awkward, and I love y'all. And even if you're not socially awkward, you're still welcome here. So let's see, every Sunday morning I try to read cards, and then other times I'm in a live, and other times I just pop on random. So be sure to subscribe so that you are notified when I come on. And Tom, we have, oh, now we have the Nine of Swords. Okay, so we have a couple of worry warts in the audience listening. My darlings, what is keeping you up at night? So Tam or Tom, this again, whenever we're looking at the swords suit, it's about your thinking. It's about being obsessive in your thinking, running the same action over and over in your mind. And humans, we do that. I do it. And I have had to learn techniques to help myself from what I call circular thinking, right? Because round and round and round about a certain problem when you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't sleep. Now, I am a spiritual person. I'm not a religious person. I don't align with any particular religion at the moment, but I do believe in the power of prayer. I believe the divine does not want me losing sleep. So I do concrete things before bedtime, not in this moment, but I have in the past. Write down the list of all the things that are worrying you. Okay, and just get them out of you onto paper. Oh, wait, I am doing something new. I'm using a really cool app for my grocery list. It's easy to use and it helps me remember my groceries. Well, you can make a list of anything you want. So, guess what I made a list of, you guys? I made a list of things for the angels to do. No kidding. I named my list things for the angels to do right on the app. And then I type in there everything that's worrying me. You know, my relationships with my kids, because there's just worries that are parts of life. Where will the next client come from? What am I supposed to be doing for my next YouTube thing? La, 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 la. All the worry crap. And then I'll just put it on the list for the angels to do. And it's easy to forget it when it's over there. Sometimes I'll open it back up and one of them I can cross off because it got done. But the idea of acknowledging worry, okay, so again, an affirmation, even though I know that I worry, the truth is I want to stop doing that. You know, again, if you weren't here early in the car, in the call, I'd say I'm on the phone. Um, but what I like to do is acknowledge the thing that I don't like. So I don't like when I worry. So even though, thank you, Latonia, even though I'm feeling so worried, it embarrasses me. The truth is, just acknowledging it makes me feel better. So if I say the thing, even though I'm really worried, and then I pause for a minute, my mind will just pop up with something. Even though I'm really worried, I know it doesn't fix anything. Okay. So where I got distracted. Where am I? I'm with Tam or Tom. I wanted to say one more thing about this card. Oh, yeah. A couple of suggestions for when you can't sleep at night. One of the things that always works for me, and I need to remember to do it, is Honopono. Honopono is 4 phrases that you can repeat that are very soul soothing. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I read somewhere that those 4 phrases are what every human soul craves to hear from someone. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. There's some family members of mine that if they said that to me, I think it would change my life. But because some of them are dead, it's never going to happen. But whatever the theory of Honopono is, and I don't know much, the fact that when I repeat those 4 phrases at bedtime, it helps me. Another thing, start with the alphabet. And those of you who do not speak English, use your own language and your own alphabet. Start with the first letter and think of something you're grateful for. And then just go through the alphabet. A lot of times I'll fall asleep before I get to M. So I do tools. I use tools. I don't sit around anymore after 25 years of living this way, accepting mindsets that make me feel terrible because there's tools. There's a book called Ask and It Is Given by Esther Abraham Hicks. Ask and it is given, filled with tools, just like what I'm teaching. Okay, so I hope that that covers what's going on for you, Tam or Tom. Sorry about that. And next we have Francis. Hi, Francis. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Let's see here, Francis. What is it when it comes to connection? What's the message for Francis? Oh, okay. We have the King of Cups. Now, remember, we were just saying about love and the fact that the cups are the suit of love and emotion, the emotion of love, the feelings of it. And so, as we look at this card, take a breath. Okay. This card can mean different things because there are 78 cards in the deck, and each one of them represents energy, like, excuse me, it's similar to like a light switch where you could turn it on and turn it off, is what I see. So the King of Cups, if it's operating in our own, for you, Francis, if the King of Cups is enlivened in you, what it's showing is a great deal of maturity, the kind of emotional balance that makes you very appealing. This is something that there's a level of self-confidence that many people crave and not very many people can get there, where people see and feel in you this deeply settled, concrete, delicious emotional maturity. Now, on the other hand, it could be that this figure is coming your way. When I see the ship in the background, it suggests to me that somebody's coming into your life. And because I don't know anything about you, that's why I try to give both meanings of this. But it may be showing that you're a good match for somebody that's coming. Now, this could be in love or romance, or could be in a friendship or career, any of the three. But it does, to me, the ideas in the card suggest that there's somebody that maybe is not even living in your town, that is completely a newcomer, a stranger to you. Before we were talking about being in the right place at the right time. So if you, Francis, are looking for a connection and you're hoping to find a connection, what I would use as an affirmation is, hang on, let me just think here. Oh, here's a good one. It's getting easier and easier to be in the right place at the right time. Very simple affirmation. It's getting easier and easier to be in the right place at the right time. Earlier in this reading, the Wheel of Fortune showed up, and we talked about that also as like a big reason why lucky people are lucky is because they show up in the right place at the right time. Even those of you listening to this reading today, you're in the right place at the right time. So I would totally, for the rest of the month of March, Francis, I would use that affirmation, write up some post-it notes, put it around. It's getting easier and easier to be in the right place at the right time. Got it? Okay. Next, Latanya, my friend. Where are you from, Latanya? I'd love if you guys want to tell me where you're from because it's fun. Also, just taking a breather, have a sip of water. Thank you for being here. I'm Catherine. This is Fish Out of Water Tarot. Chicago, I was born in South Bend, Indiana, Latanya, and I lived in Milwaukee for many years before I left, went to the West Coast for a while. I lived in Mexico for a few years, and now I'm in Tennessee, a true gypsy. And that's part of why connection is a challenge for me because now that, excuse me, I've lived in a couple of small towns where people live there their whole life. Hi, High Priestess. Um, Yes, yes, absolutely. Good Midwestern roots, right? But the thing is, though, that I did need to give away natural connection opportunities. It's nobody's fault that the family is disjointed if I'm the one that chooses to go and be a gypsy. Okay. And it's not fair for me to hold hard feelings because there are consequences to my choices. But what I'm finding is that I feel connection with the most interesting people and showing up at the right place at the right time. You know, people that are sitting next to me on an airplane or people that I run into randomly at the market that will strike up a conversation. And you never know, you guys, ladies and gentlemen, you never know how your kindness turn somebody's life around because maybe nobody treats them right in their family. They're just rude and sharp and they don't accept them. But you, um, but you as a stranger, you can say to them, you know, I think you're really a wonderful person, or that's a great idea. Yes, true, absolutely. Hi, Davinia. Yes, I think of like those dandelions where you blow on the dandelion and it disperses and the seeds fly all over the place. That's kind of like I feel I am. Okay, we are Latanya. Latanya from Chicago. Let's see what the cards, and again, our theme of the day is about connection. And a queen, queen for a queen, and the Queen of Cups. Okay, so when this is like what I would call as a power couple, when cards show up, when cards show up like this, um, it's a power couple. If it's a love reading for somebody, they're like, oh la la, and they get all excited. But I think in this group reading, it's a power couple for us because we do want connection. And so I feel like the angels are using us. The angels are using us in today's energy of this call. They're using all of us in our sense of isolation. I think that right now, because of coming out of COVID and it's coming out of winter, a lot of us here in my hemisphere are just coming out of the winter. And so there's a lot of isolation that's been going on. But I think the cards with the healing card, with the star leading us off, and then this gentle sense of needing support, and we're looking here how you love yourself with the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups, Latanya, this is a strong card. And I just feel, honestly, I feel even in your name, I don't know, maybe your name has some significance. Not sure what that means. I think it'd be meaningful to you, but you have a queenly presence, and that what I'm feeling like I want to give you as a little admonition, a little um, self-love tip on this card for you and for everybody else that's watching, because many of the people that come into my world are people that are a little bit fried, a little frazzled, that life has been getting on their last nerve. And a lot of times it's the overly compassionate, the people who other people go to for help because the tone of their voice makes them feel more comfortable, or they always manage to say the right thing and it lifts their spirits. And you may be exactly that kind of person, Latonia. However, the one thing we need to watch for, if you read this card, it says so clearly, caring for others, but forgetting to take care of yourself. So, this card, how could be such a loving connector be a problem in connection? It comes when you're not, hi Sandra, it comes when you're not aware of how tired you are. It's important for this energy, if you're a personality that has a lot of this loving, compassionate, self sacrificing energy, you have to put into your calendar self care. If you are in a position where you don't have a budget for getting spa treatments, um, you may be able to get a pedicure in one of those massage chairs that need your back while you're having your pedicure. Do you know, you guys, I had the most embarrassing experience. I was at one of those beautiful places, it was not expensive, and I was laying in the recliner and those rollers are rolling up and down my back, and I would just squeak with delight. I'd be like, oh, Oh, I mean, and the lady was doing my toes was just, I mean, she finally got it and started to laugh. Yes, yes, a spiritual bath, beautiful. Yeah, it's self-care, but it for those of us who are like the little bit of the overworkers, you have to put it in your calendar. If you had a date to go meet somebody, let's say if you had an interview, and you set a time that you have to be at the coffee shop at this 10 o'clock that morning, you're going to do it. You have to have the same determination for your self care on a weekly basis, Latonia. Okay. So I would say for the rest of March, I would challenge you, honest to goodness, to write it on your calendar, some kind of self care. And the bath is a great idea. Now, I lived for a while in an apartment that did not have a bathtub, it just had a shower. That was tough for me but then don't be proud, ask a friend if you can borrow their bathtub. But also getting some good essential oils and some Epsom salts, and just soak those toxins out. And then it's a cool thing like at laying in an Epsom salt bath. And then when you let the water out, you just thank the universe for draining all of those toxins right down the drain. And then just be there with the water, detoxing through the drain, and then take a shower afterwards. It's wonderful. And we all should be doing that more often. In fact, Catherine, put that on the list. Okay, Latanya, thank you for being here. And now I have Zion. And those of you who go and come back and see me again, I love that. I wish you could come to my house and have tea with me, and we could read cards together. Thank you, Latanya. But this is it's almost as good, but not quite, because I can't hear your voices or look into your eyes. But I'm hoping that your hearts can receive these messages. Let me take a sip. This is Catherine. It's Fish Out of Water Tarot. And I'm going through my list. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people ahead, but I don't know how long I'm going to stay. And love yourself. You're coming along. I have you on my list. And but let's see. So fancy. I have Fancy, High Priestess, DJ. Love yourself. And then I can't read that. What I said. I can't read what that says. Dominic, maybe, and then Sandra. So forgive me, you guys. I need to have better handwriting. Okay, so Fancy, thank you. And thank you for being so patient. Love yourself. I'm getting there, I promise. And Richard. Okay, Richard, let me put you on the list. Okay, so we're talking about connection. So when people ask me about certain people, I appreciate that. But as you're hearing the message, take it in personally because you're wanting, Davinia, that's you. Okay, you are on the list. I just couldn't read my own writing. Okay, but the idea of what is it in you that makes you more connectable? Okay, so as you're waiting for your reading and you're listening to these other cards, what is it in you that needs a little bit of adjustment so people find it easy to connect to you? Okay, and I'm listening to my own self say this because I need help too. Okay, Fancy. Oh, I love this is a very cool card, Fancy, and it suits your name, Fancy, because this is a fancy um, person here, the Nine of Pentacles. So this is sometimes people call this the Junior Empress card, the baby Empress, because the Empress is the sign of mastery when it comes from, yes, yes, that's right, wish fulfilled, exactly. The Empress is the energy of physical manifestation. It's the energy of your efforts have paid off, and there are things happening in your world, not just in your spiritual world or in the idea world or the dream world, but things are coming to happen right here, right now. So, with this being like the junior Empress, I feel it's almost like what do you say? It's a like a pit stop along the road. It's somewhere where it's a pause to appreciate. There are wishes coming true for you, Fancy, and you can feel it in you. This is often a card of a woman of independence. And sometimes if a woman, and again, gender's not important here, Yeah. Yes. So if you are a woman who is vibrating this frequency of the glow up, the look what I have achieved, and you deserve to stand in that energy. When it comes to connection, you could be intimidating people. You could be misunderstood. So when you're feeling like the best in your glow up because things are happening, there may be people in your world that almost are jealous of you and say things that hurt your feelings. I want to give you an example. When I read Pam Grout's book, I spoke of it earlier on the call. So if you weren't here, I'm going to say it again. Pam Grout wrote a book called E Squared, and it's a wonderful book for experimenting with energy. And when I read it, it really changed my life. And I, I had so many amazing things happen, you guys. Somebody gave me a free cruise. I'm not even kidding. A free cruise. The story is in that book that she wrote because I had so many things happen. I wrote to the author and told her, and then she put my story in her book, Think and Grow Rich, and told the things that manifested after I read her book, E Squared. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. But I was so excited that I won this. I mean, I didn't win, but I did. Life gave me a free cruise, and I was living with a woman at the time. And I was bubbling over with excitement. And I went in and I said, guess what? I just got invited on a free cruise. You know what she said to me? This is an adult who said, nobody ever gave me a free cruise. It took my joy right out of me, right? Because then I was embarrassed. I mean, we're both adults, but yet my good news made her so uncomfortable when she responded to me. I withered, I shrunk. My joy and excitement shrunk. So, this is the energy I'm talking about. If the universe starts to prosper you and bless you, people can think you're arrogant, but it's part of it because as a strong female energy, you have to be ready to have haters, and you see it everywhere. But the point is that as remember that you're not fully where you want to be. The Nine of Pentacles means you're doing great. You are holding the energy, but put your nose to the grindstone. Keep working at improving um, your own perspective of things. Work on your own personality. There's a guy called the Astrology Guy here on YouTube. I love him. He is the best teacher out there to help you get to know your sign. He has videos on what 10 things do you need to know about Scorpio. And when I go listen to it, I am busted. He does the good and he does the not so good, and he gives solid advice. So go to the Astrology Guy, keep working with your personality, and so that you can be as strong as you want to be, but also have that thick skin that a true leader has to have. Okay, so there you go. Thank you, Fancy. Okay, and you know what? I can tell right now, Dorcas, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get to you because I've already been reading for an hour and I have several people in line. So, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to do my very best at continuing embracing aging. Tony is your name. I can't read it. What's your first name? Embracing. I know you from Minnow. Oh, I'm so glad y'all are here. Okay. I'm going to do the best I can to get readings in. Okay, we're moving along. High Priestess. High Priestess. Tina. I knew it started with a T. Sorry about that. Welcome, Tina. Yes, I will try it. I've got a long list here, and I've been going an hour already, but I'm wanting to do more of these live readings, and the popularity, the fact there's so many of you here, we'll definitely be doing it again soon, okay? If you're just new here, I'm Catherine. This is Fish Out of Water Tarot. And thank you for your likes and your subscriptions and your hugs. Richard, I'm coming along. I've got you in a few people, so hang on. And oh, thank you, Fancy. I so appreciate your energy here today. Thank you. And we have High Priestess. Okay, High Priestess. I just got goosebumps when I turned this card for you, High Priestess. Now, those of you who are on the card, uh, pull in the energy from all of these cards. We are so similar in what we experience. The internet makes it easy for people of the same interest to come together. So I may not get to your card, your own personal card today, and just I'm saying because my battery's going to run out before I do, but I'm going to keep going, get as many in as I can. Okay, so I'm back here to High Priestess, darling High Priestess. Okay, this is such a cool card. Now, I always like to look at this card, the Page of Cups, and remember this is in the area of emotions, but I like to compare it to the Ten of Cups that comes right ahead of it, because the Ten of Cups is such a fulfilling card. I mean, it's in a way you would think the 10 should be the King of Cups because it's got the picture of the family and everyone is content. And, you know, it's like, what more do you want than this? This is the perfect solution. Okay. And so, uh, I'm getting distracted. I love you guys. Love yourself. Uh, you need to email me to get details, and the details are in, I'll put them up, I'll post them, but you can go to, let's see, tarot info please at gmail.com is the email. I just opened it. Tarot info please at gmail. Okay, so please go ahead and send an email to me if you'd like to have a private reading. I do have just a couple of slots left for sure. And thank you for reaching out. But anyway, back to the page. So why this lovely figure, she's kind of, I love that she's by herself. In the Ten of Cups, we had the busy family, everybody's together happily ever after. And here we have this figure stepping away from that. The page is a sign that messages are coming, but I'm getting more of a read for you, High Priestess, that this is more your energy, that there's something new, that even though you've had security and you've had experiences and there's been satisfaction, that there's something new you're longing for. It's like, is that all there is kind of feeling? And the cool thing about this card is I love the dolphin in the background. The dolphin is always my sign of playfulness. So what I would say is, are you getting enough playfulness? This could be a card that's showing just there's so much routine, there's so much that you have to carry, burdens that you're carrying to be an adult and to get everything done. And it's like, ugh. And also the idea of the mermaid, that she can't move, you know, she can't do everything she wants to do. I mean, it's like the movie, what's Splash? That's a good old movie. But the idea that it's tired of, even though the sea is full of nutrition and it's fabulous, there's a part of you that's wanting something else. So so when it comes to connection, again, not knowing you could be connection with yourself. I mean, or because of your name with the High Priestess, and of course, obviously, you're knowledgeable about the cards and esoteric. So it could be that there's a part of you that wants to have expression, that there's a part of your gifts that you don't even know about. So I would say that the big call for you is playfulness. So be sure to look at your life, see what is fun. If it's not fun, don't do it. You guys have heard me talking about Pam Grout, who I deeply appreciate and have been taught by her books. There's one of her quotes that is a challenge to me. If it's not fun, it's not sustainable. So that means that if you're working at a project or something and it's not fun, you need to either make it fun, seriously, find a way of looking at it as fun, or stop doing it, because it will just cause your creativity to wither up and die on the vine. What is not fun is not sustainable. Okay, High Priestess? I hope that that makes sense for you, my darling. And now we have DJ. Love yourself. You're almost here. Good. I'm glad that makes sense to you. I love that page energy. And also, I do like to go whenever pages come up. They are messengers. They're youthful energy. They're enthusiastic energy, and they like to study. but they all come after the tens, and the tens are all closing a cycle. So even though the tens of any of the suits are congratulatory, like yay, the reality is they're not done. And so sometimes I think we can get cocky because we think, oh, I got that. And you do. And you use that as like an anchor or a springboard to send you off into the future. You are welcome. My pleasure, High Priestess. And who do I have? DJ. Okay, and remember, we talked about the Empress. So I can't read my writing. I think it's DJ. It could be PJ. I'm so sorry. But this one, I love the Empress. This is really my favorite card. If she comes up in a reading, I feel joy because it shows that at least in one place of your life, DJ, at least one place in your life, you are manifesting. So there is something, and I'm sensing there's something going on in your family. There's tenderness between two that haven't, that maybe you didn't even think could happen. I feel like there's a restoration happening, and you're watching it happen. You've prayed for it, but you never really thought it would happen. The little unicorn in the lap of this card it's like strikes me that not every human fits in. There's a lot of little unicorns running around, right? People that you do not understand and you have such love for, and you keep getting poked by the horn. This is such a weird message, but I feel like it's so right on. So just know that the angels have heard your prayers, and that even though you want to see more progress, that these people are definitely showing you signs that the manifestation that means so much to you is definitely happening. I'm also aware of, look at how the wings on the angel are coming forward and surrounding, right? So there's just showing that there's such love for you, DJ. And there's angelic support. They know this has not been easy for you. Okay, love yourself. Love yourself. You've been very patient. So wrap your arms around yourself and give yourself a big hug. Do you know? This is not my original idea, but it's true. And let's just pause and do it right now. Just wrap your arms around yourself as far as you can reach and hug tightly because it feels good. Just do it. I know some of you roll your eyes maybe, but it really does. And how many self-soothing things we can do, um, just to bring ourselves the kind of physical touch that we're not getting out there. Okay. Anyway, all right, that felt good. Now, next thing is just put your shoulders back real far, stretch your chest forward. Okay. Love yourself. Let's see. Okay, love yourself. When we look at this card, and especially in the area of connection, it does look like there's a part of you that is sad, a part of you. It's so important. And one of the things I learned years and years ago now, because I used to get depressed a lot. And then now I call it, I have the blues. I've gone through a serious illness, but now I say, when I tell people if I'm not feeling well, I say I'm under the weather. Because using easier language, it's softer and it makes life more pleasant. So when you have sadness, and we all do, I mean, loss is something you can't get away from. And sometimes sadness can kind of want to overtake you and like surround you, immerse you. So what I did during times like this is I would make an affirmation. A part of me is sad. A part of me is sad. Because the truth is, there are other parts of you that are just not in, well, like turned on. For example, if you're sad, then your happiness is turned down. Thank you, Davinia. Absolutely. When you do have a grief, grief is something you can't run away from. But by using the language of, even though a part of me is really sad, I know it's temporary. So write that down, anyone who's going through grief. Even though I'm feeling very sad, the truth is it's temporary. That is such an at ease statement. And it also acknowledges the fact that the sadness is there. I personally worked in a pet cemetery for a while. I ran a grief group for pet owners. And it was very profound for me. It changed my life in many ways because the love that people have for their animals, especially if they're really socially awkward, if they're introverted and lonely, their pet is their everything. And so just helping people get through that kind of loss helped me look at life differently. And we need to acknowledge the sadness that's there. So anyway, but let's go into what this card is for you, Love Yourself, because of the fact that we all have shadow sides to our personality. There's parts of our personality we're not proud of. And Chris Reck over at Minnow Pond, Tina and I both love Chris at Minnow Pond. But when he talks about this card, he said, don't focus on your negatives. Like, don't talk about your weaknesses, because that doesn't do anybody any good. So if you're recognizing that a part of you is not prospering at the moment, you just don't feel good about it, you need to realize that it's just it's a moment. It's just a moment, and it's temporary. Take a look at the daffodils at the bottom of this picture. These, in Tennessee, they call them buttercups. So those come out in the spring. And so I feel like the message here is, you're always, excuse me, a fresh point of view is always available. It's spring every minute on this card. Got it? Because you can turn, you can pivot. Couple things. That astrology guy on YouTube, astrologyguy.com, I think it is. Check him out. Whatever your birth sign is, listen to he's got 2 or 3 on the aspects of your personality type. And when he goes to the negative side of it, it's enlightening. It won't be easy for you to hear it because you'll think, I am not. Well, yes, you are. We all have to look at the sides of our personality that could be difficult for other people. So this card is just calling you to be sure that there's not any victim energy or poor me, poor me, look what I'm going through. Because there's somebody out there who has it worse than you do. Yep, astrology guy. Astrology, and it's GUY. But at any rate, I like this card because it helps me stop, think about it. Wait a second. Have I been feeling sorry for myself? Uh-huh. Yep, I have been. Somebody I love has not called me on the phone the way they promised, and I'm feeling hurt feelings. That's exactly what's going on here. Poor me. But my angel is behind me. My angel's right behind me. Look at his hand right on my head. And the reminder is, stop thinking about it. Now, Pisces, if you want to check out on my channel, there are lots of Pisces readings. There's a playlist of all Pisces. So I would check that out. Love yourself. Okay. All right. Very good. And I love, okay, what else? Let's see. Is there anything else here that I'm noticing? I just love that the angel's holding her head. It's like, and also because she's a little old lady, I feel like it's a symbol that there's old things bothering you. There's something old in your past that's going on. So check out that personality guy, or the astrologyguy.com. And Divinia, you're next. Divinia. All right. I love Archangel Michael. Yes, thank goodness. Thank goodness for our angel helpers. We're not in this alone. All right, the moon. You all are very, very welcome. So the thing is about the moon. Okay, so first we just had a full moon. And so that is a time of releasing. It can also be a very emotional time. There can be a lot of confusion going on right now. In the area of connection, I'm feeling like I'm feeling like this stuck in the middle energy, Davinia, where you're feeling like you want to do the right thing, that you don't want to make anybody unhappy. You don't want to cause anybody grief. And I love how the angel's wings again are pulled around, the shoulders like protectively. They're not open. So there's a guardedness going on here. And the blue, that gorgeous blue cape to me is symbolic of the throat chakra. So it looks like there's a saying that says you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, where whatever is happening, it looks like either choice is going to be painful for you, like a fork in the road. So what I want to say is that this may feel harsh, but let it be painful. Okay, you can't protect people from themselves. And sometimes when people ask advice from you and you give it to them, they're going to do the opposite thing. And that's kind of frustrating. But once you've said your piece, once you've said your truth, you do depart from the situation. Now, that doesn't mean like you leave town, although it might. It means you detach energetically, that you are going to put their problems away from you. Hide in the angelic wings, the power. You may want to write down the whole problem. I gave them this advice. They're going to do their own thing. They're going to do their own thing. Oh, Davinia, I wish I could give you a hug, but they're going to do their own thing, and there's nothing more I can do. And then you could burn the paper or you could crunch it up, but work on detachment. Oh, bless your heart. Yeah, it's so important that you take care of yourself at this point, and the angels are right here. They're right behind you to help you. Another thing, with you also, Davinia, Louise Hay, anything by her is just magnificent. And so I would Google if she has any teachings on grief. I think that'll help a lot. And the big hug, I'll send energy to Divinia. It's really, I do know in my own life that the hardest times, that times that were just excruciating to go through, the survival, getting through a huge loss, um, is is a sign of being like Superman. There's it's a weird thing to say this. I can't quite put words on it. I'm going to try, but there's something cool about recovery from devastation. When your world has crashed and somehow in time you are back, and you're doing your thing and everything's good again. There's something cool about that. Some people never have to go through a terrible time like that. But those of us who have and have survived, it's there's something cool about it. So know that you're not alone, and we're right here with you, Davinia. Okay. And any of you want to reach out, you can reach out to me at tarotinfoplease@gmail.com. And I would love to hear from you. Tarotinfoplease@gmail. Okay, so now we have Sandra. And Sandra, thank you. Sandra's been back for a few readings, and I feel like it's just my heart warms. I wish that we could have tea and chat together in person, because that would be fun, wouldn't it? But Sandra, and now this reading today, for those of you who are just joining me, this is about connection. We're just asking the angels' guidance for how to enjoy better connection, or what's our connection message. So Sandra, wow, we're having some major cards come out here. So the Emperor, all right. So let's take a look here. So um, there's a couple, or first of all, sometimes when the emperor shows up, first I want to point out, look at those wings. Remember on the last card We saw that the wings were folded over to covering and protective, more of a nurturing. So the moon, in fact, let me pull that up in comparison for us. See how the moon is just this gentle, I'll take care of you. It's okay energy. And then with the emperor is like, okay, action, I don't need that, but the wings are still there. So if I'd like to read this two ways for you, Sandra. First of all, if this is you, if it's you, if the emperor energy is in you, it's showing that there's a part of you that's ready to really take charge. So if there's been anything that you have been putting off, something that's kind of been nagging you, you know you need to do it. There's a part of you that's saying, okay, girl, it's time. Let's get this done. Let's make a plan and take action, because the emperor is the ruler of the land, right? So whatever's going on in your real world that's out of order, I would, if I were you, I would just get real with yourself and sit down with a piece of paper and write down anything that's bugging you, stuff that you've put off, people that you want to call, anything like that. Make that list and just be real. Pick one of the things on your list. I suggest picking the thing that has the least importance. Pick the easiest one of them, but take action. Now, on the other hand, if you're a person who's been looking for connection, if you attract somebody with the emperor energy, hold on to your hat, okay? If you have somebody coming into your life that has a strong emperor energy, there may be a chance that they're out of touch with their heart a little bit. This is a call that I make sometimes with the King of Swords also. There's almost like a sacrifice with some high successful male energies, and again, gender's not so important, but the strong masculine energy that creates a business success, there's no time for love. I mean, this is the kind of man who sends his secretary out to pick a gift for the wife's anniversary, right? And then the wife is pissed off because she doesn't want something that that the secretary picked. She wants her husband to take her out to dinner and have a nice evening of his company. So it's like a be careful what you wish for. So, Sandra, I don't know if this is resonant for you either, but if you want to have emperor connections, you just have to have kind of a soft expectation on their emotions. And also, you need to have strong boundaries. So, even though they have that strength and they are showing you that emperor side of themselves, that you have the communication you need to say, look, I appreciate all your emperor stuff, but let's just get real here and have some human moments. Okay. Good reading. Interesting, Sandra. You'll have to let me know how that works out. Again, to email me. And also, if the reading means a lot and something happens, I definitely want to hear about it. I love stories. So tarot info, please, at gmail.com. Okay, we're doing good here. Richard, bless your heart, and thank you for hanging in there. We are now my last two names. I can't even read on the list. Catherine, I need handwriting help. But Richard, so again, this is about connection. Just taking a break. I'm Catherine. This is Fish Out of Water Tarot. I love to do the readings on Sunday mornings, and then, I'll pop them in there now and then spontaneously when I'm wanting to touch base with y'all. Be sure to subscribe so that when I do a live, you are informed. Okay, let's go with Richard. Love you too, Sandra. Hug, hug. Okay, Richard, we've got all these major cards. Okay, so in the deck, there are 21 cards that they call majors, the major arcana. And these are cards that show that something major is going on the deepest part of you, the parts of you where the dreamer lives. A lot of times in life, you just get so cluttered up with the doings of life. We all have to work in jobs we don't like from time to time. We all have to put up with annoying people. We all have weather issues to deal with. And Some people are a lot worse off than we are. That's the truth of the matter. But when the major cards come up, it's showing that your life situation is pulling you into a place to consider your deepest needs, your deepest desires. If there's something in your life, Richard, that's dissatisfying, it's time to look deeply into what you really want. The dreamer is the zero card, it's the start of something new. So if you're in a connection where you're wondering, is this a yes or a no? Here's what this card tells you. It's new. So if you are trying to reconnect or deepen your connection with a person, you need to find a way to do it completely fresh. Many times when relationships start losing their edge, they're not fun anymore, people want to walk out and leave and start again. But a lot of times they'll just walk right out into another relationship that has the same problems. So this is a time for soul searching. Can you see the angel back in the background there, behind the gate? Like he's walking this way. His face is in the air and he's walking this way. The angel is back here behind a gate. And so what I'm seeing there is that there is a part of yourself, Richard, that you're just not hearing from. Okay. There's a part of yourself that has wisdom and wants to help you. If you haven't tried meditation, um, meditation to me, I don't do it like or suggest like from the religious perspective. To me, it's a matter of giving your brain a rest when you're in a conscious state, meaning that when you sit down in the middle of the day and close your eyes, even if it's for 3 or 4 minutes, take a couple breaths. Your brain is resting because your eyes are not sending stimulation. It's not like you have to, oh, how do I stop myself from thinking? Good luck with that one. But when you sit quietly, awake, straight up, with your eyes closed, the whole part of your brain that processes visual information stops. And when that happens, it's a natural reset. All right. So this can help you get in touch with that angelic wisdom behind you so that you make the right choice. If it's time to leave and have a fresh start somewhere, you will have the guidance to do just that. But if a relationship is too hard and everything that you're doing is just so efforts, there's so much effort to hold it together, that's often a call to just go back, write a list. What would make your ideal partner? And just write everything out. What is your ideal partner? And then compare. How does your current partner measure up? All right. I hope that's helpful for you, Richard. Either way, whether you stay or whether you go, the whole idea is to take the time and find out what it is in you that you're wanting. Because relationships, when they're if they end, they end. There's nothing you can do about it. In my situation, when one of my relationships ended, I always say it like this: um, it was great until it wasn't. I really enjoyed that friendship with Bruce. It was great while it lasted. And then when it wasn't so great, I moved on. It was great until it wasn't. And give yourself permission to get out if it's not working. Okay, Lakshi, let's take a look. And then I think I have Dorian, and then I have Empress. It starts with an E. I'm so sorry. Lakeisha. Okay, that's you, Lakeisha. You're here. Oh, is it Lakisa? Lakisa. Okay, Lakisa, I'm so glad you're so patient. God love you. Thank you. Okay, so your card, and again, in connection. All right, so we have the ace, or excuse me, the Knight of Swords. So this is a fast-moving energy. So if we read this in a couple ways, because I don't know what your situation is, but looking at it from a terms of connection, I would say the two messages are don't be surprised if something doesn't come very quickly to you, something in the next couple weeks that out of the blue, a new connection in a surprising way. That this card often that's traditional, something's coming fast, an offer that's going to be impacting your connections. However, the other way that I would look at this is that you could be moving too fast yourself. That because of the things that you're wanting, you are charging ahead without looking carefully at what you truly want. I think that you're in a powerful position, Lakisa, because your life has helped you pick out what it is that you really want. Okay, what it is that you truly want in a relationship. However, there's something about how you're going about it that's just, it's keeping you off balance. Because of the red of his cape, I'm curious, is there anything about your family of origin, your parents, your grandparents, and the values of your family that could be holding you back? Is that part of what's making you feel out of balance because you're moving too fast for what your family wants for you? This is often the case when people are feeling stressed about making those connections. So to the best that you can, Lakisa, have respect and kindness towards the family traditions that may be holding you back, and just slow down a little bit. Keep pace, keep your boundaries, and don't be in a hurry. Okay? And then I think I have Dorian, and then I can't remember the E. So if your name has an E that starts with it, please put me another message. And then we have A is for Apple, and then A is for Apple, and Z is for taking off. So I'm going to have Apple be A is for Apple to be my last reading, and then the E person, if you want to pop in, and I don't know that they're still here. You're welcome, Lakisa. So I'm going to do one more reading. It's for A is for Apple, and then I'm going to stop because I've been on here a long time. Thank you for everyone that's been here, which is, my heart is filled to the top and with satisfaction. This is good as a good meal. Okay, A is for Apple. Now on this reading, let me tell you, A is that the reading itself, the theme of the reading today is about connection. And so embracing aging, it's you're the E, Tina. Thank you. Okay, A is for Apple, you have to wait because how could I forget? I've got EM and then it goes off into scribble. Tina, you're the best. Thank you, darling. Okay, and also embracing aging. Take a peek at embracing aging, you guys, because there's such a, with the internet, there's so much available now that helps all of us to look at life differently, and it's inclusive because YouTube is not just for 20 somethings or even 30 somethings. Oops, oh, I shouldn't move my camera around. But it's for people of all ages. And with Tina's work, we learn to embrace aging because some people feel very old at 45. True, Tina? And some people feel very young at 80. So embracing aging covers all demographics. All right, let's see what we have for Tina. Thank you. Okay, and we have the King of Pentacles. So we've had some very interesting cards today, a lot of court cards and majors. So I feel like the universe is definitely affirming for us our desire to work on connection. And as I look at, I know of your work, Tina. I'm connected because I've seen your YouTube channel, and I know your heart to support people as they're getting older. And I think that this is so important, the idea of the pentacles at this point of life, because money is not the only fortune. Isn't that so true? There's so many currency that we use, the currency of time, the currency of company, the currency of generosity. Pam Grout, who I've mentioned so many times today, Pam, I hope your ears are ringing, but she, in the book Thank and Grow Rich, talked about redefining the meaning of the word wealth. Because she said in the old paradigm, stacking up gazillions of dollars in the bank is not the best way to use wealth. And it doesn't make sense anymore in our world today. So she defines wealth as the ease and freedom to be generous. That true wealth is the ease and freedom to be generous, which means you could have $1 and you split that dollar to give half to someone else, and you are wealthy. I love that. And I live as a wealthy person. Earlier in this reading, I was talking about one of the best ways to be lucky or to turn your luck around is to give away cash. This comes out of her book, Pam's book, and it's so fun to do. You can use a quarter. You can get a handful of quarters and give them away. And what you do is like today's your lucky day, and you hand the person the money. It's unbelievable. Like dollar bills work great because you can take 5 single dollar bills. You just walk up to whoever spirit wants you to and hand them $1 of your currency and say, be blessed to have a lucky day. People don't know what to do. It's a riot. They look at you suspicious, like what? Some people look and they're so grateful. I have given away, I've had the luck of having enough cash to give away some big bills over the last 20 years. Every now and then I get the urge and I have extra. And so I will pay for the meal of someone at the restaurant. I'll say, see that couple over there? I want to cover their meal. They never know what I did. Paying on the toll road, paying for the next person's toll. At the dry cleaner, paying for the next person's dry cleaning. There's things you can do that are completely secret that make you feel really delicious. But when you hand money to a person right in their eyes, it's life-changing and it's true wealth. So Tina, why did I say all that? Back to you. I feel like you are in that position where yes, this could signify that your finances are approaching a time of mastery and that the King of Pentacles energy is entering into your financial arena, which is fantastic. But on the other hand, I feel like the call is for the acknowledgement of the other kinds of currency and to help people feel wealthy in the latter part of life. One of the things I did when I was living in Mexico, where it was just, there was so much poverty down there, it was very difficult to go buy expensive things or do expensive things when everyone was struggling. So I made a goal to try to find as much fun as I could do that didn't cost anything. Like that was a serious goal because as an American, I can buy anything I want. I mean, I want to have fun. I can go have fun shopping. I can buy a game. I can go golf. I could take an art class. I can spend money to have fun. But what kind of fun can you have spending zero money? And that's really awesome because I have a lot of fun now. In much of what I do, it doesn't cost a penny. But I had to make a goal. I had to decide that it's almost like fun is a currency of its own. You know, that fun lifts my spirits. And when I don't have to use money to have fun, I feel extraordinarily successful. And I believe that's 100% King of Pentacles energy. So I hope that makes sense for you, my friend Tina. Thank you for being so patient. But I feel like this is a real confirmation for your mission, you know, to yes, because I do also, if your self concept is higher, if you're feeling better about yourself, you're going to be in the right place at the right time and attracting clients and customers that will benefit from your services. Again, the Wheel of Fortune came up earlier in the reading, and we were talking about the affirmation. It's getting easier and easier for me to be at the right place at the right time. It's getting easier and easier to be in the right place at the right time. All of us, whatever age we are, we have so much fluidity in how we interpret our lives. And positivity still works, even if the world's kind of a mess. So, so that's my final. Oh no, A is for apple. I almost forgot you. But I love that I get to end on an A is for apple. It's just kind of poetic. Okay, let's pull one more card for A. Okay, A. And we're looking at the Five of Cups. Okay, so this is a really interesting reading because what it's showing me, A is for apple, is that when it comes to connection, you've had your share of disappointment. That there's been, one, two, three people, three positions, could be three jobs that you had in the past, three situations that really have disappointed you. Confusing, people acted bizarrely, shaking your head like, oh, for God's sake, what was that? And what's happened is there's some guardedness. There's, it's like, well, how can I trust again? So this could be, because it's cups, it's suggesting to me that it is in your love life. Love yourself, but it's in your love life. Your relationships could be friendships where it's just not worked out, and not only that, but you didn't see it coming, and you feel there was some sense of blindside in it. So the message of this card is, don't cry over spilled milk. I love when old quotes can come into play because the milk has been spilled. It's done. You can't drink it. It's not good for you. It's not, it doesn't taste good anymore. It's done. But look behind him. Can you see the two hands coming out, one from each side? So the cool thing about life, I remember hearing a quote years ago that said, nature hates a vacuum. So it's like when something leaves, there's an empty space and nature rushes to fill it. And so in this case, your heart, the emotional part of yourself is able to go forward here into something else. When you look at the card, you can see that river in front of him. He can step over it. It's just not a river, it's a creek. And even if he gets his feet wet, so what? He can go forward. The angels are showing that there is future connection coming. But part of what will stop you is if you keep focused on the pain of the past. Okay. So, a good affirmation here is, even though I've been so disappointed, the truth is a part of me will never give up. Even though it's so hard to trust people because they act so strangely, the truth is I learned a lot during those last couple of relationships, and now I know what I really want. And another thing, again, the affirmation that's been through this whole recording, it's getting easier and easier to release my heartbreak from the past. It's getting easier and easier to let myself move forward. It's getting easier and easier to being at the right place at the right time. Okay, I kind of love those easiers and easiers. So embracing aging. Thank you, Tina. Yes, the email address is tarotinfo, please. TAROTINFO, please, at gmail.com. Okay, so you're welcome, A is for Apple. Does this resonate with you? It's another thing you can do that's helpful is to write down, and all of you guys, especially any kind of disappointment, either at work or in love, just take a minute and write down all the names of all the people that have treated you badly or hurt your feelings. Just write them down and then just make a statement. Even though these people hurt my feelings, I'm done. I want to move on. Crunch it up and throw it away or have a fire ceremony, but own your part of it, right? You were naive. You made some mistakes. You weren't the perfect person. And, and just knowing that as you go forward, the more authentic you are and the softer your personality is seen, the more likable you are. So again, for those of you who just tuned in, be sure to check out the astrology guy here on YouTube. He teaches beautifully the strengths and weaknesses of each sign, and I recommend him wholeheartedly. Secondly, I recommended Louise Hay particularly here, work on the inner child. If you have hurt feelings that stab you like a knife, even though it's been 12 years since the person did the thing, that could be a sign that your inner child is involved in holding on to that disappointment. Why? Because it could protect you. So check out Louise Hay just on the Google or in YouTube and take your choice. She's got thousands of videos. Is there anything else? I don't think so. Thank you. And 105 minutes. Blah! That's really knowing that spirit guiding all of those messages for a whole 100 minutes. Good grief. But I just love you all so much. Thank you for being here with me. Again, I'll be here next Sunday morning, and maybe sometimes in between, we'll see what happens. But go forth and prosper. And thank you. Thank you for all your kind attention and the time you've spent with me. Richard, did you get a card, Richard? Did I skip you? I think I read you. Let's see here. Would have been. Yes, Richard, you were the dreamer. Okay. So I will putting timestamps into this so you can go back and refresh if you want to listen again. I will give you the timestamps so that you can see it. Your card is the dreamer. Okay. But you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Biggest hug. And like I said, I'll get the timestamps so that anybody who wants can go through and just review the readings. Go forth and prosper, my friends. See you next week.